Okay, folks, hold the applause and drop your jaws. It's your boy, the Wolf Gamer 25, and we are back once again for another riveting episode of Figure Friday. That's right, folks, and I do hope that you are relaxed. Now, if you guys have something to eat, have yourself something to drink, kick your feet up, take a breath of relief, because I want to welcome you to another stream. And today, step back into the world of Marvel, and for today's representation, it is going to be a bit of a showcase because we will be showing two new Funkos that I procured, two figures that I have been searching for a pretty good while, and one in particular Funko I wanted to rule as a sort of a tribute Funko, and I'll get to that as soon as I can because we're going to try and save that for last because this one that I found, it's unlike anyone that I phenomenal. It was an out of town fan. It was an out of town find, but hey, so I invite you to sit back and relax as we delve into the world of Marvel. Now, most of these guys, um, legends of the world, they're the two that I found. One of them is very well known. The other, not really like underrated per se. We'll go ahead and start with the figures. That way we can get the easy stuff out of the way. Sure, I say easy, but hey, sure enough, once I say easy, it'll be the hardest one. So I figured that we'll start with a cult classic because everybody knows who she is. Everybody knows what she does, what she's capable of. Man, who is messaging me? Not now. No. I'll get on the PlayStation later. It's not right now. So, I see. Okay. So, anyways, this first one that I'm going to sorry. Um, Now, one of my friends had that they saw her before in another store. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to her in time, but I um, I had seen her futuristic counterpart as a figure. It wasn't really the one I was looking for because I figured this one in particular, it represents her more because it goes back to sort of her roots, as it were. Um, because this one in particular helped me, was also a part of my childhood growing up, as the cartoon itself was epic. The theme song was always one of my favorites. And I liked this particular lady's, while everybody knows her as, by the queen, they had kind of a dysfunctional marriage, but hey, she's still one of my favorite mutants. And everybody knows her as Aurora Monroe, ladies and gentlemen, but she prefers to go by the name Storm. And as I said once before, this is the retro Storm that we're talking about here, the one from the 90s cartoon, the X-Men series. And other than the animated Spider-Man, this was another cartoon that I watched, not religiously, but any chance that it came on, I always found myself watching it, especially with a bowl of cereal in my lap. And next thing I know, that song comes on and I get hyped. I was so happy for it. So why don't we just bust her open out of her case and see what we get, huh? Because I can see already she's retro look, got her capes and everything. And she also comes with what looks like a couple of lightning bolts. Why don't we just take a look? Come here, this Storm. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Cloth. Okay, and I see that. Easy does it, man. Easy does it. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so. Yeah, wow. That's crazy. As you can see, and these cape-like things right here, they're actually made of cloth themselves. See that? Because that was one of her redeeming factors that made her stand out the most. The retro white and yellow, of course, the moon white eyes, and as I said, she actually was in a marriage with the Black Panther, who was T'Challa. Actually, I didn't really get a chance to get into that comic book series, but it's one that I definitely will search for and definitely look up. And she also comes with what looks like little concentration pieces of lightning. Let me see here. Yeah, which of course I'm guessing that, yeah, you can add it on to her. And of course, she'll strike with the lightning. So why don't we give it 360? That way you can look once more. Also, she's rocking that retro white hair of hers. That was also another redeeming factor, because whenever you saw that coming, that's how you knew that either if the weather was getting bad, or if you saw that moon white hair, that bright white hair, you saw it coming towards you, you knew you better run for your life, because she's probably going to strike your ass with some lightning. Oh, she has 2 lightnings. That's even better. Like this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. This next guy is he's a villain, of course. But in a way, I'm not gonna say he was one of my favorite villains, but he's one to me that stood out the most, because the very first time that I saw this character in particular was in the animated Spider-Man series. Now, I never really understood his motives. Sort of obsessed with Peter's girl, Mary Jane Watson. Apparently, he had went under sort of a kind of well, an experiment gone wrong, because he how can I say this? Dang, it's really hard to find the words. Remember right, and it Namor, if I remember right. Namor, if I remember right. No, it's not lies. I know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Anyways, besides the Mar, this guy, he kind of came out of nowhere because of his abilities, and of course what connected him most, because while everybody knows him as Morris Bench or Maury Bench, most people also know him in the world as Hydro Man. Yeah, that's right. And he was also in a brief stint in the wasn't necessarily like a limelight type of thing, because he was only there for so long, but he still made an impact on the film. I was happy he was there, really. So why don't we just bust him open, huh? See what we get with him. You gotta pay me for that one, okay? And you know that. You can't pay me enough. Sorry. And as I said once before, he was actually working. He was a normal guy, really. He had a job, a life, and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, he didn't have the girl. He didn't have Mary Jane as much as he wanted her. But as he was in an accident involving Spider-Man and Namor, he was knocked into the water. He was picked up by a doctor, of course, who was doing all sorts of illegal experiments. And unfortunately for Mr. Mori, one of them did not go as planned, because had he fallen into the water, apparently that's what gave him his abilities to control. Had he fallen into the water, apparently that's what gave him his abilities to control water, any base water material. He can control water, manipulate it anywhere that it's found, away from the water from a certain distance or from a certain time. Then I never really wanted to believe it, but they showed a pretty gruesome end to him in the first interaction between him and Spider-Man in the cartoon, which of course involved him in his water form, unfortunately falling on a very, very hot Los Angeles summer day. Sorry, New York. My apologies. And unfortunately, that led to him getting into an altercation with Spider-Man, ultimately leading to a small, not going to say demise, just pause, if you will, because that caused him to fall and evaporate into thin air. And of which, of course, he shows up again during further down the line, so don't even worry about that. Unfortunately, it's not the same Mori, so please forgive me for that. So we just get this up. Oh, cool. I can already see they gave him a few of his Hydro Man properties. That smug look on his face, I like the fact that they gave him the giant water hands and the giant water fist. That's pretty crazy, I won't lie. And they also gave him these little parts right here. That's part of his water, which you can actually put onto his boot right there. And as I said once before, he's got many abilities, including manipulation of water. He can basically make himself into water, slip into any surfaces that anyone else can't get into. Um, he can also, if I remember correctly, um, I'm not sure. I think he can freeze the water too, but I would have to dive more into that story and more of his abilities. So, sit right there, Mr. Mori. Now then, now we've gotten through the figures. Now we're gonna unveil the funks. So, hey, come here. So, why don't we just get to that then, huh? You guys doing all right? You guys good? Good, I hope so. Let me just grab a swiggity swig here. I love me some Mountain Dew. I don't know about y'all, but I love me some Mountain Dew. Now, the next three are going to be the Funkos I was talking about. Two of them are part of the Venomized Funkos that have come out recently, and I've been searching for these two for a while now. Ever since I heard that they were part of the franchise, basically, I knew I had to have them. Yes, there were others that stood out to me, but just mainly these two in particular, I thought they looked the most badass because one of them is another one of my favorite characters, and the other one is sort of mad, if you will, which I'm pretty sure most of y'all will catch up on that pretty quick. So, why don't we just introduce the first one? Most of the Marvel Universe knows of the Wolverine family. James James Howlett. All of his alterations that he had throughout history. Of course, there's also a lot more to that story, the Weapon X story. I believe Deadpool was in that program. It's just it was in sort of a different way because um, not only were they in the same program, it's just they didn't really function as well as one yet. But sure enough, in the future, that Deadpool would always trying his best to be there with Wolverine or even Spider-Man because, hey, they always like to think they're besties, even though Deadpool really just wants to hang upside down and kiss Spider-Man one-on-one. But I don't think it's going to happen. So why don't we just skip all that? That's best saved for another time. And introduce the very next Venomized Funko. Everyone knows her as Laura Kinney, but also people know her as X-23. And this is the specialized Venomized X-23. Now, as I said once before, everybody in the Marvel Universe knows who X-23 is, Laura Kinney. Whoa, easy, easy, easy. Whoa, no. Don't you jump out at me. Just relax. There we go. Come on out of there, baby girl. Yeah, don't flip your tongue at me. Okay. Oh, she comes with a stand. I didn't know she came with a stand. Awesome. I'll just get that out of there. Would you just please step on the platform, Miss Kinney? Or, what used to be Miss Kinney? Okay. Laura Kinney, folks. Venomized X-23. Forgive me, her head's, a little crazy. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. But hey, she's all right. That's what matters. Now, I can already see that they've given her a lot of her redeeming factors. Of course, they brought back the dual claws that she's rocking because those are also adamantium claws because she was unfortunately part of the Weapon X program. It's just it kind of got a little bit more gruesome for her, whereas like Wolverine's abilities and powers, yes, they were given to him through a form of experiments and things like that. In a way, it happened the same thing just as her. She was given her abilities and her weapons, of course, to her in a matter of which it was just unorthodox, unhuman, gruesome. Yes, it's true. But she also has a little bit more than Logan, whereas like Logan has only these two right here. She has these two here and the two on the feet, which of course give her a whole lot more fighting ability, fighting power. She also has her healing factors and everything. Now, She is, if memory serves me right, she is the daughter of Wolverine. Even though Logan doesn't really want to believe it, but most stipulations in the Marvel universe say she is. Others say she's not, mainly because, like around the time when she was born or even like created, where was he at? But most of the time, he didn't know. So please cut me some slack on that. I'll read more into it. Trust and believe I will. Now then, as I said once before, this next one I'm about to bring up, he's a bit mad, and I'm not. When I say mad, he has already been throughout. He's been known throughout the world of Marvel. Every comic book out there knows who this guy is. And as I said, he's also in the Venomized franchise, but this one in particular stood out to me next to X-23 because you guys know him as a Mad Titan, but he's also Venomized Thanos. This is another of the Funkos that I've been looking for ever since I saw X-23 on the back of the box, and then I had noticed that Thanos was one too. I thought, hey, why don't I just get him? And of course, he's rocking, his classic look, just a little more venomized. And if you look right here, you'll probably guess what that is. And let me tell you something, it looks extremely powerful. I like that they made him a bobble. You like that? I think he does. Really, I think he does. Just gave you a 360. Easy, easy. Yeah, you can tell he's happy. That's just not the tongue hanging out of his head. You can tell he's really happy. Legitimately. And as I said, everybody knows about Thanos, what his intentions were, what he planned to do, and unfortunately, he did it. I mean, he's done it once before. It's just the second time around didn't really serve him all that well because old Tony Stark pulled the fast one on him, and hey, that was one of the many ways that everybody knows him in the wars, the Infinity Wars that happened, all the lives that were lost, all the lives that were also restored during, of course, the final battle of the Endgame saga. Oh man, I still go back to most of those scenes in that movie. They give me goosebumps. Sorry, I had to say it. So why don't we bring up the last Funko, a tribute Funko, if you will, because this one in particular it just blew me away the first time I saw it. I had been looking for one of this guy in particular for a while because I knew there were a lot more versions and variations of him. The way he looked out there, it's just I saw this one and I thought, bam, this one is the one. This is the one that stands out the most. This is the one that everybody's going to remember. And as I said, it's a tribute to this man. He's a great writer, great dreamer, just great philosopher, and one creator of also one of the many well-known phrases throughout the world today. Excelsior! Mr. Stan Lee, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stan Lee. And as I said, this isn't just any old Stan Lee Funko that we're talking about. I like to think of it as a tribute Funko to him because of the way it looks. And I'll show you guys right now. I'll show it, like as I said, the way it looks, the paint on it. It's to me, it symbolizes a statue of him because in memoriam, it looks just like him. He's got his mustache rocking, glasses, all that. And I just, at first, when I watched many of the shows I grew up with, Marvel wise, X-Men and X-Men Evolution, or even when I had took the time to read some of the comic books that I had, I didn't really know much about Stan, because most of the time all I did was read and watch the cartoons. Come on. But he was, as I said, great writer, great friend, always full of life, always looking to pursue what he thought was better for the Marvel Universe. And through his many cameos in all of his movies, they'll always be remembered. And old Stanley boy here, now he's also going to be remembered as I put him up with the shelf with all the others I got. And don't worry, there's many more to come, especially during around maybe Halloween time. I'm going to try to maybe get one in, maybe get a stream in. It's the way it is. It's that it's going to probably be after Halloween because unfortunately Halloween lands on a Thursday. But I'll try my best to get it to you guys. And I also want to say thank you to those who came to the stream. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to smash that like button. And feel free to hit that follow button. That'll be posted right there momentarily. I do hope that you guys had a good time, enjoyed for the showcase. And shortly afterwards here, I think I'm going to go ahead and jump on the PlayStation and maybe play some Modern Warfare, the beta that just came out. So until next time, guys, stay safe, stay awesome, stay weird, stay yourselves. Be zen, huh? Peace.